and welcome to Rewatch Party, where we're going to see Batman Forever tonight. Or are we? No, we're going to a rave.
I'm Zacharoni Horowitz.
I'm Mark Linguini.
And I'm Harrison Primavera. And we're watching Rewatch. We're not watching Rewatch Party. We're recording Rewatch Party. We're talking about that 90s show.
Get your head in the game, Harrison.
I gotta say, out of all the pasta puns that we made for our names, I think yours is my favorite.
Thank you, Zach. I really appreciate that.
You're welcome.
You know, I have a name that suits pasta sounds so well.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
You see, like, someone who wasn't as creative would have gone with, like, a Harrison Bloom-Catini or something like that. But no.
No, that only Brave
You
Souls
were more
go with
creative with
Harrison
it.
Primavera.
Yeah.
You know what my favorite thing about jokes are? It's
What?
funnier
What?
the more attention you bring to it.
Yes.
We're watching that 90s show.
Yeah.
Yay!
We're talking about pasta names and raves and
Yep.
Batman Forever. Mostly
Quite
raves.
a full episode.
A lot of pasta puns in this episode.
A lot of pasta puns. There's some tiger pheromones.
Yeah.
Yes.
A lot going on. I was going to say a lot more than any episode of Fuller House, but we know that's not true. Not in
No,
the
we
slightest.
definitely know that's
Oh,
not
yeah.
true.
We definitely know
We've
that's
seen
not
some
true.
crazy shit on Fuller House.
There was a horse in the kitchen.
That's right. That's right.
There was an animal in the kitchen that should not have been in the kitchen.
Yeah, I think there was a cow in the kitchen and we were rooting for a horse.
Yeah, there was a
Yeah.
horse. There was
And
a
then-
cow.
And then later I found out there's an episode of Full House where they have a horse in the living room.
Right, that's what it was.
But yeah,
yeah.
one of the characters dated a Japanese pop star. They went on stage during a New Kids on the Block concert.
That's right.
Stephanie dated baseball player Hunter Pence.
They had like 6
Yeah.
different racially themed parties in their backyard.
I know, God. You're so right. They
Crazy
had
show.
The greatest CG fish I've ever seen in my life.
That wasn't CG. It's a practical effect.
The greatest practical effects I've seen in my life that it looks CG.
Such a trip down memory lane.
Yeah, but we're not
Guys,
talking about
we're not
Fuller
here to
House.
talk about Fuller House. We're here to talk about that 90s show. Specifically, I don't know why we went into we're acting like there's not a lot to talk about this episode. There's a lot to talk about.
No,
this episode.
we were saying there's a lot to talk about this episode. I said more than any episode of Fuller House, and then I said, well, that's not true, and we started talking about Fuller House.
Yeah, it's a trip down memory lane. It's the Fuller House tangent.
Zach, pay attention.
I'm sorry.
Be
I'll
better.
pay attention from now on.
So the setup of this episode is that Leia wants something, and it's very hard to figure out. She's very secretive about it.
Yes, I believe you can sort of surmise it from her first line, which I believe, look at my notes, is, I want Jay.
You know, there's so many layers to that.
I'll give you a hint on what she wants. It starts with a J.
Jam?
Yes.
It's kind of like what you have to work out in this show. It's a J.J. Abrams style mystery box, you know? And it
Right.
really gives the show most of its dramatic, like, drive and purpose. At the same time, Ozzy wants something. Ozzy is sick and tired of all these Wisconsin cheese festivals. He wants to go to a rave in Milwaukee.
Yo, where was the episode of that 70s show where they go to a cheese festival?
I don't know.
I want to see that.
I've never been to a cheese festival. I'd go to a cheese festival. That sounds like a good time.
Yeah, cheese festivals seem fucking
A cheese
awesome.
festival seems like it would be a fun time for all involved. I want to see cheese. I like cheese.
Yeah.
I understand if you live in Wisconsin and the only thing you have to do is go to cheese festivals, as I'm sure is true of Wisconsin, how you'd get sick of them. But as an outsider looking in, I'm like, look, I live in New York where there's just like culture.
There's no
and
cheese
there's
in New York
nothing to
at
do.
all. There's no cheese in the entire state.
There's no cheese, but more importantly, like in New York City, there's like literally nothing to do. There's like no culture and nothing going on. I'd love to go to a cheese festival.
Yes. I've heard that about New York.
Cheese
Yes.
festivals are so great. They beat New York any day.
They should host a cheese festival in New York so that New York can finally be like, we have something. We have this cheese festival.
Yeah, New York really has no identity. It needs a cheese festival to just like find
New York
itself.
needs the cheese festival.
Yeah, it's gonna be a big rebrand.
It's gonna be the cheese state now, not the Empire State. Yeah.
Cheese state of mind.
They build a new Empire State Building, but it's made out of cheese.
That shit would go rancid so fast. Oh my god.
But think of the jobs it would bring in. The original Empire State Building was so good at
Think of the
revitalizing the
culture.
economy and giving people a thing to build and look forward to. Imagine that, but with cheese.
It would be a nice stinky French cheese too. Yeah, they'd really made sure to age that building.
No, Harrison. It would be American cheese because we're in America.
Fair enough. Yeah. Probably be better for concrete as well.
Yeah, they're very patriotic down there.
Yeah. So
so
Leia wants Jay.
Ozzy wants a rave.
And Ozzy wants
Leia wants
rave.
Jay, and Gwen tells Leia, "Look, don't let like a man control you. You don't need Jay." But she's smitten, and at the same time, Jay's kind of smitten as well. He's in my notes I had trouble. I'm like, is it the front yard, the garage, the driveway before the garage? You know that area, the classic That 70s Show set, the front yard / garage. Jay's hanging there with Nate and Nikki, and they're talking about how he didn't kiss Leia, which is weird because the Kelsos are the biggest sluts in town.
Also, now that I think about it, it is kind of weird that they just like hang out at their friend's house without them.
Correct.
Like, imagine, Mark, if Harrison and I were to just hang out outside your house and just not tell you.
Yeah.
That is always so funny in That 70s Show and That 90s Show that is a thing they do.
It was definitely, there was 100% something I wanted to talk about here, or at least mention. None of them live here. And I understand Nate lives next door. But that's not the same thing.
No,
it's not.
They just accept that they're always just going to be there, no matter what happens.
But anyway, we keep cutting back and forth between these two trios. Gwen tells Leia that she's not ready for Jay. He's had sex in a lake.
I love that the Kelso's defining genetic trait is not that they're stupid, which would have been the obvious choice. It's that they're just super horny all the time.
Yeah.
Horny boys forever.
Those were Michael Kelso's two defining character traits, stupid and horny.
Yeah. I really appreciate that Jay is less stupid, but just as horny. It makes him a very distinct and wonderful character.
Oh, yeah.
He is a horny man.
It's the evolved
He's an evolved
Kelso.
Kelso. He's a horny man, but he has a modicum of wherewithal.
He's Kelso, but with actual brain cells.
Yes.
Which makes him more dangerous in many ways.
That is true.
I did say it during the episode, but at least in this point in the series, I love all the new characters, but in a way I feel like Jay is the most well realized.
Mm-hmm.
I demand to know which Kelso had sex in so that we can stay away from it forever. But yes, I agree. He is such a well-defined character.
It's probably one of the Great Lakes because the sex was great. Get it?
God.
You guys can't see it. Zach is holding his hand up for a high five, even though we are recording from different locations on Zoom. And he's
Don't expose me like
he's
that,
starting
Mark.
to tear up because no one's high fived him, and we're just saying Zach, we're not nearby. We can't high five you. And he's like, I deserve a high five for that.
Thank you so much
joke.
for the high five, Harrison, that you can definitely hear on mic.
Zach just high fived himself and said that it was Harrison. It's really sad. I just need you all to know
this is slander, Zach. This is slander.
I'm worried. Zach, are you okay?
No. I'm very obviously not.
Well, don't worry, Zach, because we're always here for you.
Thank
but
you.
not right now, because we're recording the podcast.
Okay.
Yeah.
I was going to go into all of my trauma, but that's okay. We can talk about that 90s show.
we can talk about your trauma on the therapy podcast that we have.
Yes. This is us announcing that we're doing a therapy podcast, not really.
Yeah, where we unlicensed therapists listen to each other.
We're cutting back and forth between the two plot lines. Nikki really wants Jay to close the deal and tell her that he likes her. Jay says he won't because his dad, Michael Kelso, font of wisdom, told him that you I'm glad that got you. Told him told him that you never tell a girl you like her first because that gives her all the power. Which one?
It makes so much sense that Kelso said that, but it's so funny. Like, it got me because not only is it Kelso, but when he said, yeah, my dad told me to say this, I just imagined a generic dad saying that. Like, I fully forgot for a moment that Michael Kelso is this young man's main influence.
His male role model.
His male role model.
Michael Kelso.
Yeah.
Oh no, that's terrible.
Here's my other thing. Kelso is giving him this advice of like, hey, don't let girls control you. And it's like, Kelso, we've seen that 70s show. We've seen your relationship with Jackie. Where maybe this is where he learned the lesson, but she absolutely controlled him at every single moment.
Oh, yeah.
He is so whipped.
Yes.
Oh,
anyway. But anyway,
perfect.
Jay doesn't want to give up the power, and Leia doesn't want to give up the
power. And Nate's like, that's ridiculous. I told Nikki that I liked her first, and I have all of the power in this relationship. Spoiler alert, Nate does not have all of the power in this relationship.
Jay points out she makes you wear your dad's pager so she can ask you for things. And Nate says, yeah, but that's only for emergencies. Like last night. And Jay asks, what did she make you do last night? And Nikki goes, he had to get me gum. And then she goes, emergency gum. Yeah.
Yeah, everyone needs their emergency gum. Yeah.
Understandable. Yep. It's a real emergency.
Yeah.
I feel like everyone wanted to chew gum when we were kids, and that's not really a thing anymore. Nobody brings that up.
I feel like the reason why is because a lot of like school and stuff wouldn't let you chew gum.
So it was the forbidden fruit.
Yeah.
Yeah, that makes sense.
And it's, I think, a status symbol of like, if you're the kid who brings gum to school, then you can say to people like, do you want gum? And everybody always wants gum.
Yeah.
So it's like, now you have this power over people.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
I think in a lot of ways, gum is about like capitalism.
It's a metaphor.
Yeah, the gum black market
Yeah.
at school did tear several friendships apart and eventually started an investigation by the police into a racketeering conspiracy. Yeah, gum is a very big status symbol at our elementary schools.
But yeah, Gwen, who I think Ozzy says has read this like Riot Girl manifesto, is saying that Leia needs to own her power and she can't cave for Jay. She has to make him work for it. So in a split screenshot, Jay and Leia both vow to make the other one make the first move.
A lot of parallels between this one and that Battle of the Sexes episode that I watched recently, where Eric and Donna just refuse to have sex with each other because they're in an argument.
Right.
But they both just really want to have sex with each other. Yeah.
You know the episode. I do know the episode. Yeah. Yep.
That was a good episode.
Yep.
I don't, but let's move on.
We go over Red and Kitty are watching TV, but Kitty wants to talk. She wants to talk about how much fun she's having with Leia. It's funny because she starts talking about they were doing this thing where they were coming up with celebrity pasta names like Rigatoni Danza. And I thought there was going to be another part to the story. I thought she was going to be like, we were coming up with celebrity pasta names. And then she said this thing and I thought it was the sweetest thing. But instead, the whole story is we were coming up with celebrity pasta names.
Yeah, and this just becomes a running gag throughout the episode. There's just a bunch of pasta puns.
That's amazing.
It's very fun. We did it while we were watching. It was very fun.
The one I was proudest of was Lasagna Taylor-Joy.
That I think was the best one we came up with.
Yep.
One that I haven't said yet, but just thought of was Laura Prepardell.
Love it.
That's very good.
Thank you. Yeah. It's a very fun game. Do it with your friends. Rigatoni Shaloub, I think would have been better than Rigatoni Danza.
I said Rigatoni Shaloub.
I'm not trying to steal that from Zach.
But he hadn't had his moment yet.
Yeah. Well, okay. I want to say I said Rigatoni Shaloub before they said Rigatoni Danza in the show. I didn't fully copy that.
Yeah. Yes, that's true. We were watching and we started coming up with our own puns. And inferior Tony.
Yeah, there are some good ones.
Natasha Kappa-Leon.
Moving on.
Or Natasha Kappa-Leon.
I like it. Mm-hmm. I'm here for it.
Thank you. Yeah, Zach, why would you ever want to move on from pasta names?
That's fair. You know what? You bring up a good point. The rest of this podcast is just going to be us making pasta puns out of celebrity names.
Yes. Zacharoni Ashley Horowitz.
Ashley. Not, you're doxing my middle name, Mark. How could you? My real legal middle name. My real legal middle name. It's on my birth certificate.
And your real first name. Zach is short for Zacharoni.
My real birth certificate that I showed you in private, in confidence.
Oh, God.
Next thing I know, you're going to spoil my social security number and put it on for all to see.
Well, joke's on you, because I'm about to do it. Zach's social security number is 5.
No! How can you do this to me?
Oh my God.
How did you know? I told you that in confidence.
Mark, now everyone's going to blackmail him.
Zach, I may have pinky swore, but I'm a bad boy. I go back on my pinky swears.
Okay, nobody who's watching this, please do not steal my identity of Zacharoni Ashley Horowitz with a social security number of 5. Because you can totally do it.
Yeah. Yeah.
Kitty is talking about how much she's enjoying spending time with Leia and how they're such good friends. And Red is like, we're adults. We're not meant to be friends with kids. They're stupid. And we go over to the next scene where one of my favorite moments of the episode, Jay is putting on baby oil to seduce Leia. He also, Nikki is there and she's like, this is so transparent. You're putting on baby oil. And he goes, yeah, but I've also got my guitar. And he grabs the guitar and it slips out of his hands because it's covered in baby oil.
I love that.
It's very good. This entire scene, Jay is like slipping on everything because his entire body is covered in baby oil.
Yes. This is what I mean of like Jay feels like the most fully realized character. Like that, like him covering himself in baby oil and slipping everywhere is such a good joke and something that is like fully new. Not that the other characters are derivative of that 70s show, but I'm like, oh, that's such a good bit.
Yes.
It's such a good bit. He drops the guitar. Nikki's like, oh my God, she's going to love this. He's waiting for Leia to catch a hot glimpse of his hot bod.
Smoking hot bod and covered in baby oil.
Yep. Nikki pages Nate to put some on her shoulders.
Yes.
As you do.
Yep. As you do. Again, my next note, we already mentioned it, but Jay keeps slipping. I just really need you, listener, to be aware that he keeps slipping. He keeps trying to like pose to look hot and he keeps slipping. It's really good.
Yes.
This man has not practiced living covered with oil.
No.
As Harrison has. Harrison is an expert in living life covered in baby oil. Harrison's covered in baby oil right now.
I'm covered in WD-40 right now. I don't know why you guys aren't.
You should have seen Harrison in high school. He was slipping everywhere. I don't think I ever saw Harrison like take a step. I don't think I ever saw Harrison like take a step because he'd just slide down the hallways.
Yeah, we used to call Harrison Slide and Go because he'd just slide down the hallways with his oiled up body.
I would never betray anyone.
My best friend Slide and Go, who would never betray anybody.
My life covered in oil hasn't been easy, but it has been more fulfilling, and I'm really grateful for that.
Yeah, everybody used to complain a lot because he was just constantly wet.
He'd leave like a little snail trail behind him of oil, and everyone would be slipping all around the hallways.
Yeah, and you'd be like, I haven't seen you put on more, but you're still wet. What's going on? Do you generate it? And Harrison like wouldn't answer you. He'd be like, I don't know. I'm just living my life. Who knows?
An oil-covered man never reveals his secrets.
Yeah. You use far less now.
Yeah, I've grown to accept that I can't use oil all the time.
Yeah, Harrison learned the idea of moderation.
Because if I used it at work, people would complain.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, Harrison in high school would be sliding around the hallways. You didn't want to see what would happen when he'd get to a staircase. It was not fun.
I just never used him.
You just never used them. Yeah.
I just got lucky.
Yeah, he'd actually you got what? You got lucky?
I got lucky. I always had classes on the first floor.
Oh, okay.
I never had to use
I didn't know what I got lucky mean then. I thought
they were like, okay, this kid's coming in, he covers himself in baby oil and slides all around the place. We don't want him to go up to the second floor. Yeah. Put all of his classes on the first floor.
For a second I thought you were like, I'd get lucky. I'd materialize on the second floor randomly. But yeah, that makes more sense. I think I did hear the school board was accommodating you. Oh yeah, you were that kid who I heard the rumors about who was so wet that the school board like
so wet
did special accommodations for.
Yeah.
And I wonder why I never had a girlfriend in high school.
It's because you were so wet.
It's because listen, anytime Harrison tried to get with a girl in high school, she'd be like, Harrison, I'm wet, and he'd be like, I'm wetter. And then she'd leave.
And then she'd get very confused.
And leave.
And a little sad.
Yeah. Harrison had a lot of first dates, but no second dates. Anyway, Leia and Jay make like googly eyes at each other. Nikki and Gwen go to have a sidebar where Nikki's like, why are you pushing so hard for Leia not to give in to Jay? And Gwen's like, well, I want her to be her own person and not like cave on him. Why are you pushing so hard for them to get together? And Nikki says, Jay spends so much goddamn time with my boyfriend. They are way too close. When Jay had mono, I got mono. I need him to get a girlfriend so he will leave me alone. I'm starting to like Nikki a lot.
Oh yeah, she's great. She's great in this episode.
She's really good in this episode. Yeah. So Nikki needs this to happen. I believe this is when Nate, who again, he's been using her dad's pager. Nate gets a full medical call on his phone and answers it and pretends to be a doctor.
This is a great idea that always goes well.
Yes. So
Doctor
Nate
impersonation.
Nate is now Dr. Bro, MD.
Dr. Bro, MD. One of the top doctors in the state.
Oh yeah,
I believe.
In the country.
Yeah, it's just very good. And if it was just this moment, it would be very good. But dear listener, he keeps doing it.
Yeah.
He keeps pretending to be a doctor, and it's really good. But anyway, we cut to the next scene where Leia walks into her bedroom, and who's sitting on her bed but Nikki?
When that happened, I was so concerned it was just going to be Jay waiting there on the bed.
I thought so too, but I think I think Nikki being there might be weirder because it's like she, according to, in Leia's mind, there's no reason for Nikki to just be waiting for her on her bed, having snuck into her house, supposedly.
Yeah, well, Leia says, like, how did you get in here? And Nikki says, oh, I crawled in through the window. Anyway, what should we talk about? Jay, I think you should go for it. I love how much she's like, I need this to happen. You don't understand.
She like pulls Leia in real close and she's like, please, I need you to get with Jay. Please. He is around me so fucking much. I need him to leave me alone.
I cannot handle it. But luckily, Gwen and Ozzy are right behind Leia so they can stick up for her. Nikki offers Leia and Jay 2 tickets to Batman Forever.
But Gwen's like, no, actually, we have plans tonight. And Nikki's like, oh, really? What are your plans? And then Ozzy butts in and says, we're going to a rave in Milwaukee for purely selfish reasons because he wants to go to this rave so bad.
I liked that a lot.
And so they're all going to go to a rave. Everyone's going to a rave together.
Yeah, I think there was a line where Leia's like, "Why did you say a rave?" And Ozzy goes, "For purely selfish reasons."
Yes.
I love
that was very good.
Yeah, but they are missing out on Batman Forever, which would have sealed the deal because it does, of course, have the sexiest song in the world.
Yeah, it has. Why Batman Forever? Kiss from a Rose. We've been trying to answer this question for a long time.
Scientists still can't explain it all these years later.
Have you seen Val Kilmer and his hot bat nipples with Nicole Kidman? It's a pretty hot movie.
You know what? It is a very sexually charged Batman movie. I guess I always forget just how horny that movie is.
Yeah. And Zach, I know you're not as big a Batman fan as the rest of us at this podcast. Mm-hmm. You should know that I think Nicole Kidman's defining character trait in that movie is how much she wants to fuck Batman.
That is wonderful. I'm so happy that you shared this with me.
She's really horny for Batman.
Very horny for Batman. Kind of like how Jay is really horny for Leia. Whoa!
It's very similar.
Transition.
It is a lot like that. Actually, Harrison, what were you going to say? I'm curious.
Her character arc is transitioning from wanting to fuck Batman to wanting to fuck Bruce Wayne.
That's true.
That's her character arc.
That's the arc.
Also, it should just be noted that her name is Dr. Chase Meridian, which is one of the best names in fiction.
Oh, that's amazing.
That's a great name. That's on par with Anastasia Steele and Christian Grey.
Yeah.
And Jackie Daytona.
Jackie Daytona.
Yes.
Yeah.
It is. Chase Meridian is an Anastasia Steele ass name. You would be like, yeah, that's a very good observation.
And Mark Orlando.
Mark Orlando.
Another very good one.
Very good one. We could sit here forever naming comedy names. Gene Parmesan.
Yeah.
Gwen makes Leia lie to Red and Kitty about where they're going. Leia says, "We're going to the movies. We're seeing Batman Forever. It got rave reviews. I mean, regular reviews. I mean, mixed reviews." Anyway,
you caught me. I'm lying. It didn't get good reviews. It got mixed reviews. It didn't get rave reviews. We're not going to a rave.
We're going to go. You guys rave fun at home. I mean, she does such a bad job.
Oh, yeah.
I was so hoping that they were going to close the door, and the reason she gets away with it is that Red and Kitty don't know what a rave is. That's the only reason her lie works. But no, they're a little smarter than that.
Yeah, to be fair, they leave, and Red immediately goes, "Well, she's lying." And Kitty's just like, "No, she's my friend. We make up pasta names together. She'd never lie to me."
We make up pasta names together, which reminds me, I forgot to tell her about Spaghetti Murphy, which is a very good one.
It's a very good one. That's a Kitty original.
It is a Kitty original. Credit where credit is due. That might be the best one in the episode.
Yeah, Spaghetti Murphy's pretty good. I'm taking a pause because I'm looking at a list on Google of pasta shapes, trying to come up with one on my own. But again, I'm not going to beat Lasagna Taylor-Joy.
Lasagna Taylor-Joy is the best one. We're not beating that.
We're not beating it. But we cut over to the rave. Jay put on pheromones, tiger sweat.
They say 50% of the time it works every time.
Yeah, that very much had that vibe, and everyone just immediately agrees that he smells like a tiger's asshole.
Oh yeah, it's the same bit as in Anchorman.
Oh, it is. Yeah, no, but it's very good because he's putting this on to lure Leia, and they're like, "This smells terrible," and he's like, "You don't know what you're talking about. This is tiger sweat." And it cuts over to Leia exiting the van. She's like, "Why does the van smell so bad?"
So good.
Yep. Gwen is going through everything. She's like, "I feel like I forgot something. We have the pacifiers, right?" And they go through the list. Guys, they forgot Ozzy.
They left their Ozzy at home.
Yeah.
Oh no.
Who was the one who wanted to go in the first place?
I love that twist that they leave him behind.
Yeah.
And he's wearing his stupid rave outfit and it looks immaculate.
Yeah, Red and Kitty find him, and Kitty describes him as looking like something out of her sleeping pill dreams.
See, I was really hoping that there would be a bit where he'd like defend the lie and be like, "What? No, we're all up there when they went to see Batman Forever, and I got left behind. This is my crazy quilt costume."
He does look like Crazy Quilt.
Yes, it's really good.
But yeah, they interrogate him, and it's wonderful.
They should put Crazy Quilt in a new Batman movie.
Oh yeah,
Yeah.
Who would you cast as Crazy Quilt?
Bob Odenkirk.
Ozzy. The guy who plays Ozzy, obviously.
Okay. I do have my own pitch.
Yes.
Okay.
Timothy Chalamet.
Ooh.
Yeah. He's hot. He's young.
Yeah.
He could I think Crazy Quilt is going to be a sex symbol for the youth.
That's a very good one. I feel like we went in very different directions. My gut instinct was Bob Odenkirk.
I mean, Bob Odenkirk definitely is like the traditional Crazy Quilt casting decision, but Timothy Chalamet is like dark, soulful, sexy twink Crazy Quilt.
Dark, sexy twink Crazy Quilt. You know what I'm saying? The movie writes itself.
It does.
You can see the poster.
Someone call up Zack Snyder right now.
The Batman Part 2.
Crazy
Quilting
Quilt.
with a Vengeance. Tagline: Dark, sexy twink, Crazy Quilt.
The tagline: This quilt is crazy.
Quilt free or die hard.
But yeah, they're interrogating Ozzy.
Yeah.
They're doing the whole good cop, bad cop thing like they do in Law and Order. Red and Kitty talk about Law and Order a lot this episode as well.
A 90s reference, because it's the 90s.
For a second, I thought, wow, what a modern show to reference. Realizing now that Law and Order has just been on for 20 years.
Yeah. It started in the 90s. I think they mentioned it.
It's fully a 90s show.
I think they mentioned it last episode too. Like, I kind of like that they only know Law and Order, which I could see. I know when my mom was pregnant with me, she like exclusively watched Law and Order.
I do want to see because I know there was like a joke about this with like something, I think it was about like Harry Potter or something, because that supposedly takes place in the 90s, and someone was like, I can't believe that Harry Potter takes place in the 90s, and not one person said, man, the Chicago Bulls are on a hell of a run right now. So I want someone to say that in that 90s show, just out of nowhere.
Can I propose something else but related?
Yes.
I want someone to say that once an episode.
Once an episode.
Wow, the Chicago Bulls are really on a run right now.
The Chicago Bulls are on a hell of a run right now.
Man, I can't believe I can't make things between me and Leia work.
Kind of like how Michael Jordan made it work with the Chicago Bulls.
It's a shame the Cubs will never win a World Series.
I am glad that we got a shout out to Batman Forever of all things.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Red interrogates Ozzy, who tells him that the other teens are in Nunya, and Red's like, oh yeah, now we're getting somewhere. Where's Nunya? And he goes, Nunya business.
Oh shit, they got him. Oh,
got him!
I can't even believe it. Oh my God. Ozzy, he gets up and he runs around the room. Everyone high fives him.
He has like an air horn blasting.
Yeah.
I love that Kitty just says, well, you walked into that one, Red. Like, that is not his fault.
Yeah, Red fully walked into that one. It was
good.
great. But eventually they break him, and he tells them they're at a rave in Milwaukee.
Yeah.
And so Red's going to go to the rave.
Yeah. We do, I think slightly before they break him, we do cut back to the rave where Nate is getting off the phone, and Nikki's like, what's going on? And he says, oh, I'm sorry, I was distracted ordering a blood transfusion. And she goes, what? And he goes, don't worry about it. I think it's probably only going to be for this episode. I really wish Nate being a doctor was like a running thing throughout the show.
Oh, that would be amazing.
Yeah.
I
love that they've just accepted that Dr. Bro is now just this phantom doctor at the hospital working for free over the phone.
Dr. Bro MD. He didn't go through all those years of medical school just for you to call him Dr. Bro, Harrison.
Wait, I said Dr. Bro.
Well, actually, I think he did go through all those years of medical school to be called Dr. Bro rather than Mr. Bro.
No, Dr. Bro MD as opposed to just Dr. Bro.
Zach, do you call your doctor by their name and then MD?
Yes. All the time.
That's some real respect and dedication.
Yeah. This doctor is working on making me healthy, saving my life. I could have all of the diseases and the doctor will fix it for me. I need to show them as much respect as I can.
We need to show the doctors in this world that we aren't confusing them with, like, doctors of philosophy.
Exactly.
Anyway, Leia decides that she's just going to go talk to Jay. So she talks to him and they agree. She says, like, look, we'll count to 3 and then we'll both tell each other how we feel. And they go 1, 2, 3. And she says, I like you. And he doesn't say anything. And he goes, I knew it.
What an asshole!
Oh, shit.
That's a real Kelso moment right there.
It's a real Kelso moment. Leia's immediately like, well, fuck you then. And they agree, like, well, we'll see who scores better tonight.
We'll see who's fucking who.
Also,
we will see.
I guess that's a good opportunity to bring up that this is a pretty shitty rave. There's like 20 people at this rave. They keep making the joke that it's too loud for them to hear each other. You could totally have a conversation at this rave.
Yeah. Though I do like there are a bunch of scenes where it's like it's only subtitled. I thought that was a funny funny bit. Yeah, Nate continues to impersonate a doctor. Now Leia and Jay are mad at each other and they're going to see who's going to score more. I think it's going to be Jay based on his track record, but who knows?
We see his flirting tactics later and they're really something to behold.
Oh, yes.
But yeah, we go back to the house. Kitty's playing good cop and she manages to get the information out of him. He says Leia's at a rave in Milwaukee, and I just like that Kitty, who the entire time has been like, look, I'm your friend. I'm Leia's friend. He says she's at a rave in Milwaukee, and Kitty goes, that lying bitch.
Very good. It was immediate. It was so good.
Yep.
I love this transition of Kitty being the nice grandma into being the new Red of the show.
Yes.
Oh, yeah.
Kitty gets so angry at being betrayed by her pasta pal.
Her pasta pal.
Yep, her pasta pal.
Pasta pals.
But we go back to the rave. Nate gets off the phone. He's been invited to a conference in Denver. A medical conference.
He must be really good at giving medical advice straight out of his asshole.
Oh, yeah.
Dr. Bro's good. He'll get it
doctor.
done.
And also, it's probably not as hard as it seems. There is a real case of a man pretending to be a doctor for 2 years, and it fully worked. He was just fully fine for a while.
For 2 years, you might say.
Yeah.
But anyway, Leia decides to go off and like flirt with someone else because Jay is doing his karate moves in front of the girls.
Right, I forgot that he's just doing karate moves in front of like a crowd of women.
Which, to be fair, hot.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, we mentioned
really hot.
Like Nate doing karate on a tree.
Yeah.
To vent out his frustration.
Right, I forgot about that.
In front of his girlfriend.
Yeah.
Nikki. Do you think she puts up with that, or do you think that's how he attracted her?
I think that's absolutely.
It's true. Nikki was the tree.
I mean, you guys know me. You guys know how I met Michelle, right?
How did you meet Michelle?
Yeah, I was in the park. I was just like, honestly, I was just like sitting and like, I felt like our eyes met like from across the park. And it was like this really, just like that romantic moment where like you see someone you know.
Right.
And so I just started moving towards her doing karate.
And she turned to you and she said, "You got it, dude."
Yeah, she fully fainted because she was so overcome with emotion.
Yeah.
Oh, wow. That's a really powerful story.
Some say she hasn't woken up to this day.
And now we're married.
Good for you.
It's wonderful. I'm really sorry I didn't come to the wedding.
It's okay. Mostly we did karate together.
I'm sorry that I didn't come to the wedding.
Because that's how we express love.
Yeah, Mark.
Well, Zach, you weren't invited.
I was gonna say, I'm sorry I didn't come to the wedding. I wasn't invited.
Yes, I'm aware. I'm aware.
Okay.
Well, we all know that Zach had a torrid love affair with Michelle's sister.
Oh my god.
Yeah.
DJ.
So it was gonna be too awkward.
Yeah, she was gonna be there. I was gonna be there. It was just a lot of awkward.
And
tension.
everybody was doing karate. It was just a whole thing.
Yeah.
I just thought of a different, maybe better joke.
What?
Which is like, well, we all know that karate's very sexy. Like, I mean, and like just very romantic, even like removing it from sex. Cause like, I mean, right. Like you guys know, like Pride and Prejudice, like that's how Darcy and Elizabeth meet. Cause he's doing karate.
Of course.
Right. Yeah.
She thinks he's really like haughty and like maybe a bad dude. And then she sees him doing karate and she's like, maybe I was wrong.
I'm just imagining a version of Pride and Prejudice where Darcy is fully an asshole, but his karate moves convince Elizabeth.
I think he's still like good in the end. It's just instead of like writing a letter explaining himself to her, he's like doing karate, and that's why she's like, maybe I should give him a second chance.
He's doing karate in the woods, and she walks in on him.
Yeah. I love you most ardently. Yeah, karate. Yep.
But you know, Leia sees this amazing attempt at flirting, and she's like, "Well, I gotta start grinding on some random guys." And she grinds on this guy, this very mature-looking man, and the camera pans up. And who is this mature-looking man? But one Red Foreman.
Red Foreman? The Red Foreman of Point Place, Wisconsin?
The very same.
I feel so honored that he's blessed the Rave with his presence.
Yep. Leia, they're doing the thing where we don't hear audio, but it's all subtitled. And Leia says, I'm so fucking fucked right now.
Oh, yeah.
It's really good. Cut over to the Foreman house, and there's an exchange that I really liked where Gwen says to Leia, I feel like this is all my fault. And Leia says, because it is your fault. And Gwen apologizes to Leia for pushing her too hard. She says, like, look, I actually skimmed that Riot Girl thing. If I had to say what I actually think it's about, I think it's about how you should just like do what you want, not let anybody tell you otherwise. So if you want Jay, you should go for it.
Yeah.
And then she leaves because Red and Kitty are there to punish Leia for her misdeeds.
For her many crimes against the state.
Kitty gives her the riot act.
Yep.
You know?
Yeah, and Red's just like, well, we're glad you're home safe. And Kitty's like, that's all? And Red says, look, I'm playing good cop. Kitty's very excited to be the bad cop.
Yeah, there's a very fun exchange where Kitty realizes she's the bad cop. And she's like, wow, is this how you feel? Is this how you feel all the time? And Red just like nods. And she's like, this feels so good. I love being the bad cop.
I really want a scene where they're like interrogating one of the teens. And Kitty like leans in really close, takes out a baggie of cocaine. She's like, we found this on you. And the kid's like, that's not mine. She's like, oh yeah, well, you're going to go away for it if you don't tell me what I want to know.
Oh my God.
Yeah.
I just want to see like the rest of the show. Red and Kitty just like swap places. Like Red is just the nicest guy ever. And Kitty is just the bad cop.
It'd be great. That would be so great. But yeah, they ground Leia. Kitty says she's gonna kill Leia's chia pet.
I love that. Yeah. Like, that's
what did the
so
chia
ruthless.
Pet do? Why you gotta bring the chia pet into this? The chia pet didn't do anything wrong.
But we go over to Leia and Jay meet up in the front garage area where Jay apologizes for how he was acting and says, look, on 3, let's say how we feel about each other. And they count to 3, and he says, I like you. And she says, I think we should just be friends.
Damn.
Whoa.
Bad,
whoa.
That's a twist. That's an M. Night Shyamalan style twist.
Got him.
Yep. Got him.
And then, they talk about, how they should be friends. And Jay's like, oh, you mean like Ross and Rachel? How they were like on a break? He doesn't say the on a break part, but he says like Ross and Rachel.
No, he says like Ross and Rachel.
Were on a break.
Yeah. I mean, what he means is, we should be friends like Ross and Rachel, where like they're friends, but there's a lot of like sexual chemistry. Right. And she's like, no, I think just like, it's summer and why not?
It's
like, why ruin things? Yeah.
Yeah. Don't be ridiculous. It's not Ross and Rachel, these friends who have a bunch of sexual chemistry towards each other. It's more like Joey and Chandler, two friends who have a lot of sexual chemistry with each other.
Yeah. Yeah, it didn't really work in his favor.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Good joke, Zach. I liked that.
Thank you.
But yeah, then we go over to Leia talking about Gwen, and Gwen's like, really? You said all that even after he like apologized and everything? And Leia's like, yeah, now I have the power. So it was all a move, and now Leia has the power, and
She
Ozzy
out-Kelso'd the Kelso'd.
Yeah,
She out-Kelso'd the Kelso.
She out-Kelso'd the Kelso, and Ozzy dances in the basement because he never got to go to the rave.
So they did a rave for him. So
Yep.
Leia's just fully not grounded.
Yeah.
Like
her
friends
are
grounded, and
over.
they're actually like 2 scenes after she gets grounded where she talks to her friends and her friends are at her house.
Yeah, I understand like, oh, she can like go in the front yard and play basketball and maybe Jay showed up. But yeah, now her friends are just in the house.
Yeah.
And they're having a rave downstairs. Like they're fully living it.
Right.
Living it up.
You can't see it, viewers, but Mark is doing a little rave dance right now, and it's great.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Had to get that in.
Yeah. You have to. It's a rave. You gotta dance. You gotta party.
Yeah.
You gotta dance. You gotta party like it's time for Sad Boy of the Week. Oh, baby, dropping that bomb.
It's time for Sad Boy of the Week?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Sad Boy of the Week. Tyler, play some like dubstep here.
Sad boy. All right.
Anyways,
So
who are we nominating?
Okay, I just want to put out there, I have a stealth nomination that I do want to throw out there, which is Nikki, because in revisiting the episode, I find it so funny that she's like, you don't understand. This slab of beef is hanging out with my boyfriend so often. I do not have a moment alone. He gave me mono.
I feel like Nikki in this episode is more interested in getting Jay and Leia together than either Jay or Leia.
Absolutely. She sneaks into Leia's bedroom.
Yes.
And I just love her opening of, what do you want to, I'm on your bed. Don't worry about it. What do you want to talk about? Jay?
Yeah.
I love it. Jay. I love it. Also the fact that she keeps paging Nate for dumb reasons.
Yeah.
Yes, that's very sad.
Yeah. I feel like you could ping Nate for the same reason, where he just gets paged for a bunch of dumb shit and also pretends to be a doctor.
Yeah, we'll throw forward Nate for getting paged for dumb shit and pretending to be a doctor.
Though he does turn out to be weirdly good at pretending to be a doctor.
Yeah.
So maybe that makes him the glad boy of the week.
That's true.
I feel like there's gonna be a lot of nominations. You can nominate Ozzy because he got left behind. He was the only one who wanted to go to this rave, and he was the only one who did not get to go.
Yes. Ozzy got left behind after weeks and weeks of only cheese festivals. He finally sees that there's a rave happening, and he gets left behind, and instead he has to stay and get interrogated by Red and Kitty. And he breaks for like no reason.
Yeah.
Kitty's like asking him nicely, and he's like, you know what, I like you, Mrs. Foreman. They're at a rave. And she's like, that little bitch. There's Kitty, who gets betrayed by her pasta pal.
I know, the downfall of the pasta pals is so sad.
Oh yeah.
Like,
I feel
damn.
like you also need to nominate Jay and Leia as well. Jay, because his moves are just doing karate.
Yeah.
He totally blows it with Leia. He covers himself in baby oil and is slip sliding all over the place.
For Jay's slipperiness alone, he gets a nomination.
Oh yeah. And then there's other stuff on top of that. And then Leia,
Bucatini
because of how
Turner.
bad she's Bucatini Turner.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Sorry, I just that popped into my head. I needed to throw it out.
Bucatini
Turner.
And then Leia, because and not because of the pasta pals. That is just cool people. Only cool people make celebrity pasta puns.
Yeah.
But Leia is just really bad at lying and disguising the fact that she's going to a rave.
Yeah.
She gets busted immediately. Does not get with Jay at all.
Mm-hmm.
Is really bad at flirting with other guys.
Yeah. Although in the end, she has the power.
That is true.
She has the power.
Yeah.
Yeah.
She does have the power.
I think we have enough nominees. I think I could vote.
Yeah.
I actually am going to vote for Nikki. I really like Nikki in this episode. I feel like, Jay and Leia are very central, but I think they're not as sad as they could have been. So I'm throwing my vote to Nikki, but I don't begrudge any other directions.
Harrison,
I'm
who do
throwing
you
my
vote
boy Ozzy in the mix.
Mhm.
The fact that he wanted to go to this rave so badly that he got all dolled up. He's in his balls, his like
Yeah.
ball outfit, and he can't even go to the rave. Is so fucking great.
See, I was really hoping that you would pick either Nikki or Jay so that I could like throw my vote to the other one. Because I feel like Jay really deserves a vote here. So
well, there
I'm giving
is
my
always
vote to
the
Jay.
option of having Tyler break
Yeah,
the
we
tie.
can
Yeah.
have Tyler pick one. So we have Nikki,
So
we have
Tyler,
Ozzy, and
we
we
have-
have Jay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think
All right.
3 good candidates.
Yes. While we're waiting for Tyler, let's just go over very quickly. Nikki is very into getting her two friends together to unspeakable levels.
Yeah.
Ozzy,
it's
who
her
gets left
desperation
behind.
that wins it for me. Tyler says Nikki.
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay.
Good for
She
Nikki.
is very sad
honestly,
in this episode.
like
Yeah.
if Harrison had voted for
Stealthily,
Jay, I would
yeah.
have voted for Nikki. I just felt like Jay deserved a vote.
Okay, good. Okay, yeah.
He needed a vote for the oil alone.
It's stealthy,
Oh,
but
yeah.
it's like this episode, Nikki goes from like a 5 character to like an 8 character.
Oh yeah. I love Nikki so much more after this episode.
Nikki's great.
But with that, I think that's it.
Yep.
All right. Well, guys, hope you enjoyed this episode of Rewatch Party. Thank you so much for listening. If you would like to see more of us, please follow us on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram at Rewatch Party Pod. Please rate, review, and subscribe. And until next time, I have been Harrison Primavera.
I have been Zacharoni Horowitz.
And I've been Mark Lingurini.
And until next time, keep rewatching, and I'll see you guys at Dr. Bro's medical conference, his very real medical conference in Denver, Colorado. Have a good night.
Be there or be square.